Good morning, Nancy. It's currently 9:36 a.m. It's Monday, January 20th. So we are getting very close to the Chinese festival, Spring Festival, Chinese New Year, and it's going to be a big celebration, as you know, and it's all around the world. So the last time we reviewed the vocabulary from the kitchen, again, you don't have to memorize everything, but just remember the stuff that can be the most useful to you, okay? Hosting, you can host a party. You are the host, you are the one who organizes party at home, or you can host a dinner, and so forth, okay? So okay, yeah, something about hobbies in America. It's a very funny thing and very interesting thing. I love the fact that many Americans, they have a lot of hobbies and then turn a hobby, sorry, into a job. I remembered the first year I arrived to America. I was living in Oregon at that time, and there was I forgot the name of this fair. That was like before Christmas. They had some kind of a crafty fair, you know. It was indoors in a big warehouse, and many people were selling stuff they were making. And I remember this woman, she was making jam, marmalades, and you know, coming from France, we created that. And I tried her jam, and she was a bit nervous because I told her I'm French, and I love jam, but I cannot find stuff without. We make jam with not too much sugar. It's possible to make it because you have the fructose, the natural sugar coming out from the fruit. And she got nervous. She was, oh damn. My first potential customer will be a French, and let's see if she's gonna criticize my food or not. Actually, she made some very good jam, but it's not difficult to make it, you see. So I didn't want to be too negative, and I tried to encourage her. But this is a woman who didn't have a job. She's a housewife, taking care of several kids, and I think you know, she was trying to prove her husband that she could do something with her life. And here I come, a French woman, first customer, and I bought some jam from her because I didn't have time to make any. And I was like, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna come back because I don't know if I'm gonna be in the area, but you know, that was encouraging. Many Americans, you know, they don't have a lot of, maybe too many degrees, or they cannot afford to go to school, or you know, they maybe their parents force them to study something they don't like, so they try something else. And so I try to encourage her. But this is a very common thing in America, is to have Americans trying to make money with a hobby. It's a very big thing. I don't know if it's the same in China, but Americans, and also it's coming as well in Europe and Latin America, where people are trying to you know, to love their job, not to be stuck in a cubicle. You know, this is kind of a small office, and with walls, you know, the white walls, and you do something you hate, but you have to work because you need the money or the paycheck. Okay, so that's a big thing in America. So hobbies, ployon, hobby, a hobby, an activity done for fun, not for money, a desired way to spend time and relax. Okay, so to reflect. So we studied this. To reflect on something is to think about something. Do you think about something important, something that touched you or affected you, had an impact on your life, or changed something in your mind? So you reflect on, you know, you reflect on, I don't know, maybe you made a bad decision and you are thinking about, you know, I should have done this. But it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. It can be also positive. You can reflect on your childhood. You know, you're analyzing your childhood. You're thinking about it. Okay. So the reflection, the mirror reflects your image. Okay. Or reflects the sun, or, you know. So it's a reflection. That's a noun. To reflect is the verb, and here, just here, that means to think about. But it can also be the reflection, like, you know, it's reflecting on something. So you can reflect upon something or about something or on something. Let's see here. To reflect about something that happened at the past. Okay, that happened because I'm using a past here. You reflect that something happened. You think about the past to reflect on my action. So, okay, so let me simplify here. To reflect, that means to think about something important. To reflect on something, you're talking about the past. Okay? For instance, to reflect on your actions, your performance. Okay? So your performance reflects on you. It doesn't have to be the past. But this is something that started in the past. Your actions from the past are affecting the present and the future. You see? It's not just a matter that has to be in the past. It can be negative or positive. Okay? So just be careful of this. Okay? To reflect on something or upon something. And to reflect your image. There was another thing. About. Okay, so be careful of about something and on something. Okay, so we're gonna just keep talking about it. So to reflect about something, that can be about the past, if you want, something that happened. And on something, it can be the present, can be the past, can be the future. Okay, it doesn't matter here. Now, so your performance reflects on you. That means can be good or can be bad. Superstitions. Many superstitions in Europe. Many. I don't know about America because I don't really ask about that, but I think people have, it's no longer superstitions, but I would call that OCD. You have a lot of Americans who are OCD. And so they need these kind of rituals in order to feel like they're going to have a good day. They're going to control their days, you know. So I prefer to have superstitions than having psychological issues. Anyway. So superstitious, to be superstitious, that's the adjective. And superstitions, it's a noun. Okay, so many people in the past, you know, before summer, when they started, you know, taking care of the fields, they were hoping to have food that day. So they were trying to listen to nature. They were trying to, you know, to offer things to nature. There was always this kind of fear of not having food during the harvest season. Okay, so that was a fear of many farmers. That's why many people now, they don't want to take a risk and lose money and time, and they prefer to use pesticides and all these different disgusting chemicals, well, to make sure they can make money. Okay, they invest money, they get their money back plus a profit. So that's basic capitalism here. But you know, it's hard now with organic products to protect that, especially with all the chemicals around that can affect your crop. So pulling an all-nighter, that means to stay awake all night long to study, to get good grades. We talked about Harker. I think it's child cruelty over there. And it's admitted, accepted by the people. And you think that, you know, that by the parents, and it's you know, it's legitimate, so it's acceptable, so they accept our rules, so we are legitimate, we are a legitimate school. Anyway, so we had some issues to call each other here. To not feel at ease, comfortable, compress. Let's go back to all clear. Okay, let's go back to all clear. Hold on. So this is all clear number 2. We started lesson 1. We saw everything. Okay, and now we have to start lesson 2. I mean, we already started, but we have to pulling an all-nighter. That means to study all night long, and we all done it. Okay, in your native country, is it common for students to stay all night studying? Yes. When does this happen? Before finals, mostly. What do they do to stay awake? Coffee, that was my stuff, but I know that they can do other things. Did you ever have to give work to a teacher late because you forgot to do it, or because something happened? If yes, what did you do? What did your teacher say? Well, I'm sure that happened to me. I don't remember. Um, I have a student, he's taking French classes with me, and he's a teacher at MIT, and he told me that he never accepts late work, assignments, nothing. So it's, yeah, he doesn't have any, he doesn't give a second chance. So he doesn't care about the excuses. Anyway, so can be a bit rude, but it's like that. So we have this dialogue. Annette, is everything okay? You look really tired. Is that obvious? Like, is it like so obvious? You can see it. You can see it. Yeah. Well, you're right. I'm tired. Last night I pulled an all-nighter writing a paper for my psychology class. Did you finish it? Yeah, and just in the nick of a time, very quickly, I emailed it to my professor 5 minutes before the deadline. Well, that was close. Are you going home now? No, I have to hurry to my history class. See you later. You've got to be careful. If your deadline is at, let's say, 11 p.m. and you send it at 10:55, you've got to make sure your connection is good, the computer's not going to crash, and all this stuff. You have to, to be a tiny bit more organized. A few hours later, Alan, I'm ready in hot water. My history teacher gave us a surprise quiz and I couldn't remember anything. My mind went totally blank. I didn't even want to hand in my quiz because I knew everything was wrong. Oh, I can't believe this. I'm going to get an F on a test. That happened to me once, but it wasn't a surprise quiz. I just got the date of the test wrong, so I didn't study. I took the test cold and didn't do well. What grade did you get? I think I got a C. Well, at least a C is passing. I'm going to get an F. Listen, Annette, you need to take it easy. For all you know, you passed the quiz, so why don't you just go home? Why don't you go home and take a nap? That's a good idea. But I have another class at 2. We're going to have a test. I need to go to the library to hit the books. What a day you're having. You can say that again. So we're going to go through that because we didn't do it. Okay. So to pull an all-nighter is to stay awake all night to study. I can't believe the test is next week. There's so much to study. I know. Maybe we should start studying together right now. I don't want to pull an all-nighter again the night before the test. The last time I did that, I was really tired and I got a terrible grade. Similar expressions: burn the midnight oil, stay up very late working or studying. This is an old-fashioned expression that is not very common today, but you might hear it. It comes from the time when people used oil lamps for light. It does not necessarily mean that someone will stay awake all night. At that time, they were not using this expression for saying like they were studying all night or working all night. But this is what they were using to see at night. Cram for test. Push a lot of information into your mind at one time. Study at the last minute. Note, think of cramming something into a full drawer. Look, this to cram something inside. You're trying to bring a lot of information all at once in your brain. To cram is to try to push something into a container, such as your brain that is already quite full. I'm sorry, I can't talk to you right now. I have to go cram for my history midterm. Have you started studying for it yet? I crammed all night, and after the test, I forgot everything. Stay up, not go to bed for any reason, not just to study. So I stay up at night, I watch TV, or we had a party, or I talked on the phone. On New Year's Eve, they stayed up all night. They didn't go to bed. On New Year's Eve, they stayed up late. They went to bed late. So, have you ever pulled an all-nighter? If yes, when, why, and where? Do you usually study in advance, or do you? So, let's talk about this, okay? I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. and you have a nice day. You take care, Nancy. Bye-bye.